Congrats on the win, Mike. There clearly is a lot of speculation as to what you're going to do next. If you had your choice to decide whether or not you will re-sign with Bellator or if you're going to jump ship, go to the UFC, where is your heart at right now? What is it that you're hoping that will happen?
Don't talk about my heart right now, man. My heart has nothing to do with fighting. My heart is so full. I am so over the moon in love with my wife and my son, and I haven't seen him in 12 weeks barely. So obviously the business side of things, we're gonna make the best decision possible. I think there's no doubt that Bellator is the organization that they are because of the blood, sweat, tears, performances, fight of the years that I put on here. And it's also for certain that I wouldn't be where I am and who I am without the amazing people of this organization and how well they've taken care of me, the promotion, the bright lights. So, man, my ribs hurt, my feet hurt, my leg hurts. I'm excited to get home and see my family, go on a little trip. But Bellator is going to be, my phone's on. We have an exclusive negotiating period, like every contract, and then. Man, after finishing a guy like Benson Henderson, who hasn't been finished since 2006 or whatever it was either 6 years or 2006, whatever the difference is. The guy doesn't get finished, and I finished him with a switch to southpaw, knocked him out with my left hand. So, just turned 34 years old. I feel like the best striker I've ever been. I was just getting settled into that fight. Henry Hooft has my hands and feet. Deadly weapons, wrestling and grappling with Kami and Greg Jones, man. I feel on top of the world, and we'll see what happens next.
Yeah, and you just said you feel like you're the best striker you've ever been. Another guy that is a very elite striker, and you said even before everyone knows, is the money fight, is Conor McGregor. Regardless of what happens, I just want to know, if that fight were to come to fruition, how does it end? Who wins? And I'm assuming you believe it's yourself. How would you get your hand raised?
I do believe it's myself. But, the thing about Conor McGregor is I've always loved what he has done with the sport. I've never once hated on him. In the very beginning, I did say that he's not as good as he thinks he is, but he's better than we think he is. And he continued to prove that. I still don't think he's as good as he thinks he is, but that's a testament to his self-belief. If all of us had a little bit of more self-belief like Conor McGregor, life would be a little bit differently, and we would look at life through a different lens. As far as that fight goes, I finished Conor in under 2, in my opinion. It'd be similar to shades of Diaz 1, wear him down, hit him with hard shots, hard shots, take every single one of his shots. He's got that sneaky and strong and thick and hard left hand that he throws, and it's straight. You avoid that, wear him down a little bit, make him see Jesus to put him out.
Congratulations on the win.
Thank you, sir.
So I gotta know, what are you gonna be doing in between now and when you decide where you go next?
I'll tell you what, I'm gonna go spend some time with my team here tonight, and then thank you, brother. And tomorrow morning I hop on a plane to go see my family. We're gonna take a nice little trip, coincidentally, to Arizona, right in Benson Henderson's backyard. Gonna spend about 11, 12 days there. Just love on my family. Business. I love the sport of mixed martial arts. I love this fight business. I love what I get to do inside of the cage, the opportunities it's afforded me outside of the cage, but nothing's more important to me than my wife and my son. But man, the future is bright. The phone is open, and it's going to be a very interesting next couple weeks. As I said on the mic out there, every single lightweight is on notice right now. Every single lightweight in the top 10 is on the clock. I am a force to be reckoned with. I'm a guy who's been around this sport on the outside looking in, seeing and watching and scheming and plotting and planning his next big move. Maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. We'll see what happens.
And so how much longer do you see yourself actually fighting? And after that, do you want to maybe become a coach, commentator, judge, or?
We'll see. If you would have asked me a couple years ago, my answer would have been different. But I'll tell you what, right now, I feel the best I've ever been. I mean, you don't go out there and finish a hard-nosed guy like Benson Henderson in the first round without feeling pretty darn good about yourself. I had a phenomenal 12-week training camp, and I trained 4 weeks before that, put in over 100 miles during quarantine, then went down to Florida, beat myself up for 12 straight weeks, no injuries, no setbacks, never got tired, never got down on myself. I'm the best, most dangerous, happy, healthiest, and hardest to kill I've ever been in my entire life. So as far as fighting, man, I can do this another 5-7 years, I think. I've taken really great care of myself. I'm one of the smartest guys inside and outside of training sessions. Nutrition is on point. Food is on point. Taking care of myself like a professional athlete, not like a Neanderthal, like a lot of these guys. So I just feel great. I think I got another 5 to 7 years in me.
And you showed the fans a lot tonight. You showed the other promotions, the Bellator, going into this negotiation process, you showed them a lot. But did you kind of prove something to yourself in a way, too, that you could go out there, like you said, do something that hasn't been done in 6 years and maybe feel and be the best that you've been?
Absolutely. As I said before, Benson Henderson is a champion inside this sport. Doesn't matter if it was 5 years ago or it's 5 years from now, if he's still fighting. That man is a champion inside and outside the cage. With that being said, yeah, I downplayed it with all of you guys when you asked me. Man, there's a lot of pressure on you. Hey, this is the last fight in your deal. Hey, you're taking a chance on yourself. You're taking a bet on yourself. But, man, I wouldn't be the man that I am today without taking a chance on myself. When every single person back in Jefferson County, Missouri said, why in the heck are you going to go walk onto that Division I wrestling team? You're going to be a punching bag for 5 years. You're going to be a workout dummy. You're never going to make it. You're going to ride the bench. You're never going to wear that black and gold singlet. Within 1 year, I was wearing the black and gold singlet. Within 3 years after that, I was an All-American team captain 2 or 3 years. Every young kid out there right now, take a chance on yourself. Believe that you were designed and created and engineered for more success than you ever could think of in your wildest dreams. And that's what we did here tonight. That doesn't mean anything as a knock on Bellator. I love this organization. I love what they've done for me. I love every single heartbeat. Stu, I see Stu over here. Me and Stu have been at this thing for 10 years, man. And it's a really humbling feeling to now see where we're at and what the future may hold. I love the people here. They have impacted me in ways that they will never know. So we'll see what happens next.
And you talk about your love for
Stu.
Love for Bellator, and clearly you're emotional when you're in the cage talking about your relationship with them and how you guys have built together. But if you were to stay here, what else do you feel like that you would be able to accomplish here that you already haven't done? How would you top yourself?
No, I appreciate the sentiment, but I also, coming from your shoes and then thinking about in my shoes, this sport is not about necessarily opponents or promotions or what this sport is a constant metaphor for life and stepping out there and painting a beautiful masterpiece in front of millions of people on TV and showing you and everyone that you know and everyone that's watching that the human condition, the human spirit was created for more than we give it credit for. And I don't care if I go out there against the number 200 guy in the world or the number 1 guy in the world. It's a test and a contest against myself, trying to outperform my previous self. And I did that tonight. I went out and finished Sidney Outlaw last fight in dominant fashion in front of 30,000 people in Japan, this time finishing a legend in the first round like Benson Henderson with a devastating knockout. I need to go back and watch it. I'm excited to see it. But man, the sky is the limit, and you and everybody here was created for so much more. So it's not about staying with the promotion and what's next. I mean, of course, there's that Patricio fight next. Listen, the Pitbull brothers disliked me a lot. I would love to run it back with Patricio. I think I beat him 9 times out of 10. I've already said it. I zigged when I should have zagged, got caught. We all get caught. So we'll see what happens. Thank you.
We'll take a couple questions from the internet here. We'll start with Jim Varsalone.
Congratulations. And I'm curious, that sequence there, you went right to southpaw. Was that part of the thought process coming in to sort of mix it up back and forth?
It wasn't a lot, honestly. And this is the craziest thing about mixed martial arts, the evolution of mixed martial arts or a mixed martial artist. At least for me, it takes me 2, 3, 4 full training camps to work on something inside of the training sessions to where it actually comes out, let alone works inside of a cage, inside of the actual competition. Man, Henry Hooft is the greatest striking coach on the entire planet. And it's not just because of the techniques. It's not just because of the game plan. It's not just because of the angles and the power and his past experience with champions and the champion himself. It's the fact that he's a phenomenal leader. Henry Hooft makes me believe in me more than I will ever believe in me in the entire world. So it's the greatest feeling on earth to know that my striking coach is that good. He's got my back. And man, when he says something, I believe him. When he says I can go out there and do that and switch step, hands are fast, angles, movement, keep it simple, I just believe him. And that's what we did. We switched stance. We threw that straight left. Turns out I got just as much power on my left hand as I do my right. Because if you can knock out Benson Henderson with your non-dominant hand, that's saying something. So I'm humbled to be able to have hit that today.
And also, we don't know what the future will hold, and you're going to take some time off to be with your family. Do you have a time frame of when you would like to make things happen and get to fight again?
I'll tell you what, man, I'm an active fighter. I'm always in shape. I'm always taking care of myself. I'm not a guy who takes short notice fights, but I am a guy who stays in shape. So, we'll see. We got some talks to be happening here very soon. I'm ready to fight November, December. I'd like to fight again this year. I want to be active. What you saw tonight, I trained 12 weeks for about a 3 or 4 minute fight. Took very little damage. My hand's a little bit sore. Foot and shin are a little bit sore, but man, it's just a little bit of soft tissue stuff. I'm not the kind of guy who takes a lot of time off. I'll be right back in the gym this week. Putting my road work in and staying in shape, eating right. And I'd love to fight again before 2020 ends. Put me in there.
Hey, congrats again. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
All right, next question will go to Ray Van.
Sorry.
Hey, so my question was about the crowd and the crowd not being there. What was it like when you walked into the arena without the crowd there? Did the lack of crowd make any impact?
For me, luckily, my inspector let me. He followed me out to the cage earlier when my training partner Adam Boric was fighting. So I got to it. You never understand how important it is to see, to smell, to hear, to taste the air, the atmosphere in these arenas if you don't actually go in there before the fight actually happens. So I was able to go out there, watch my training partner, Adam Boric, go out there and get a win. That kid is a future champion. I love that kid. I love training with that kid, by the way. The actual walkout was surprisingly short. He said 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. My music hit, and I started kind of walking fast, and I realized it was only about 6 feet. So it was a very small venue, which I think was awesome. I think Bellator did a phenomenal job making this nice and small, intimate, curtained it off. That doesn't need to be in this huge arena because there's not a lot of people there. So they did a phenomenal job, as they always do, and it was interesting. I loved being out there. I would fight in front of. I love you, the fans, but I would fight in front of no crowd the rest of my career if I had my choice.
Connor Northrup.
Hey, Michael, congrats on the win.
Thanks, sir.
You obviously had a decorative Bellator career so far, but how much leverage does a win like this give you going into negotiations?
I'd say it's pretty good. I think Benson's got to be. You got me, him, and Patricio, and I think that's your top 3 right there. And I think I'm number 1. I think Benson would beat Patricio if they fought too. So, I essentially just dispatched in the first round, in the first couple minutes, one of the best lightweights, definitely one of the best lightweights, if not the second best lightweight in this organization. So, you talk about leverage, man, it doesn't seem right to me to talk about leverage, to talk about the business dealings, to talk about it all, because to me, these are people. These are people that I love, people that I've been around with, people that we've shared, blood, sweat, and tears with over the last decade. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be fun because, as I said on the mic out there, life always has a way of revealing what is next, and God opens doors and closes doors right at the right time, even when you don't think you may or may not be making the right decision or when the decision will happen. And I've always operated that way. I've already cried with my wife on FaceTime on the way over here. So we talked about it, and it's going to be exciting. We're taking care of either way, and I'm excited to see what happens next.
All right, we have time for 2 more. We'll go with Drew Pierce.
Hey, Michael, congratulations again. How good does it feel to go in, be able to do your work, not leave it up to the judges, which is something you've done well throughout your career, and then get out fairly unscathed?
Very good. As I said before, it's so funny. The first fight, all I want to do is knock Benson Henderson's head off into the front row of the crowd and finish him. And I end up going through a 25-minute decision, pee blood afterwards, pass out after the 4th round, wake back up, finish the fight, lose the 5th round. This fight, I talk about not finishing him and go out there and finish him in the 1st round. So that's the MMA gods giving us a nice little chuckle. So it feels great. Let's be honest. you guys see the way that I fight, man. This is 21 wins now, 26 professional fights. I think that's the most wins in Bellator history. I think it's the most knockouts in the lightweight division. I think it's got to be the most first-round knockouts in this organization. It's just another – I actually read an article on the way – this fight week, and it was actually baffling to me. I didn't even know I have 6 or 8 records in this organization are tied for first, which this knockout in the first round and the win pretty much put me over another couple. So it feels great, man. I'd be lying to you if I didn't say I was over the moon. I'm over here crying like a little baby on the way over here. I took off running because I wanted to call my wife. Doctor said, "What are you doing? You might have a broken leg." And so it's just a fight game, man. Here we go.
Kevin Varghese.
Hey, Michael, congrats on the win. One thing, you reached the pinnacle of Bellator 3 times. You silenced the doubters that questioned the first fight. What do you have to say about your journey now 10 years in Bellator?
I couldn't be happier with my journey, but I will have to correct you. I haven't never hit the pinnacle. There is no pinnacle in this sport. There is no pinnacle because, as I said before, it's always about outperforming your previous self. I love the belts. I love being able to provide for my family with this sport. I love the glitz. I love the glam. I love the red carpets. I love all the cool stuff. I love being on TV. I love bleeding in front of people and giving men something to watch and women something to enjoy and the fans something to watch us go out there and do what we do inside the cage. But there is no pinnacle. It's always me trying to outperform my previous self. And, three titles later, I'm looking at it as is. I'm only 3 titles in. And I got a lot more left to prove. I got a lot more gas left in the tank, got a lot more rubber on these tires, and I got a lot more heat on these hands. So I'm excited to go out there and do it.
All right. Our last question comes from Randall Foltz.
Great fight, Michael. You talked about records earlier. You are now tied for most wins in Bellator history. What does that accomplishment mean to you?
I hate ties, man. Ties the first loser pretty much. Because you're not the winner yet, I guess. But no, I mean it's as I said earlier, man. It's humbling to see my name in these record books. It's humbling to be here yet again. As I said earlier too, it's just humbling to step inside this Bellator cage. I think this is my 23rd Bellator fight now, and every single time there's so many familiar faces. Everybody that you have no idea, the media has no idea. A lot of the fighters outside of this organization have no idea how well these people take care of us here. So it's just a humbling experience, man, because there's always the emotions that go into this, and then there's the fist bumps and the high fives and the good jobs. Win, lose, or draw, man. There's a lot of heartbeats inside this company that have made this journey a lot more enjoyable than I ever thought it would be, and I just appreciate these people so much. And I feel like this is a win for everybody. This is a win for this everybody who's been with me on this journey. And this is especially a win for my wife and my son.
Now, last thing for me before I let you go. You train with killers over at Sanford MMA. How did they play a factor into getting you ready for Henderson during the pandemic?
Listen, man, I'm glad you brought that up. What we have going at Sanford Mixed Martial Arts down at Deerfield Beach, Florida is you guys have no idea how awesome it is yet. We are officially similar to a high level professional sports team with a couple $1 billion healthcare system behind us. We have an orthopedic surgeon on staff. We have a recovery room. We have world-class coaches, Henry Hooft, Greg Jones, Kami Barzini, Corey Peacock. And man, you guys saw tonight, Adam Boric, Nye from Hawaii comes and trains with us. Matt Mitrione came up on the wrong side tonight, but he's a champion. So many guys. We have the number 1 guy at welterweight in the UFC. We have the number 2 guy at welterweight in the UFC. We have the number 9 or 10 guy at welterweight in the UFC. So 3 guys in the top 10. And just look at our roster, and it's absolutely amazing. So these guys make me feel like I could punch through a brick wall. These guys make me feel like I could jump over the moon. And when you have that kind of love, trust, and just admiration for the men that you're in the trenches with, there's no better feeling in the world. So I appreciate and love my manager Dave Martin and Randall Allman for you guys putting this thing together at Sanford Mixed Martial Arts, making this thing happen so that guys like me, who was a small guy from a small town who was taught to do small things, can go across the world and achieve things that I've never thought possible in my wildest dreams. So Sanford Mixed Martial Arts is the best team in mixed martial arts. Give us 12 months and you'll really be seeing the fruits of our labor.
All right, Michael, thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.